Hi, everybody. You're listening to the Hisessions Hawaii podcast, where we talk about everything local and beyond. I'm John Yamasato, your host. Joining me today is Mr. Kaushima Bukuro.
How's it?
Devon Nekoba.
Howdy.
Before we begin, let me remind our listeners of all the ways they can stay in touch with the show. There is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Hisessions. Then you can go to SoundCloud, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts to listen to the podcast. And finally, you can email us at hisessions@yahoo.com if you have any questions or comments. Or you could technically message us at Hisessions and stuff. Instagram. So there's a lot of ways to get...
Kyle and I don't have access to those, so...
Yeah.
You'd
be
just
basically
be
talking to
mentioning
me.
it to John. It's okay.
But I mean, you the one that answers all the emails, right?
Yeah. I do.
So you'll be directly talking to him, basically. Yeah.
But
Well,
just John.
Yeah.
But if you message Instagram, Liko and I share that. So sometimes Liko will be the one picking up the messages, and he might not know what you're talking about because he handles the music side. Anyway.
By the way, in your messages to John, make sure you mention something about him being clean shaven. Because we haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah.
He's got a haircut and he's like clean shaven.
I look like a normal human being.
Yeah, we're trying to encourage that because when he doesn't, he looks very yogore, which in Japanese means he looks like a bum.
Yeah, I did get that.
Dude, you look
Did I tell you that story about being a bum in Japan?
No. You look very yogore because you get the just little patches.
Right.
You don't get like Kyle. Kyle's got like a stylish thing happening.
But you got to clean it up on the parts that aren't shaven, right? It doesn't automatically grow like that. I would assume.
Maybe it does.
I just shave right here, like, and I'm off the door.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But I'm hairier than you, that's why. It's easier.
You're hairier than everybody.
Yeah.
By the way, is this an old new shirt or is this...
That's an old shirt.
Wow, when did you find this?
In my laundry pile.
Seriously? It's just hiding in the back of your closet.
Sorry, we will introduce you in a minute.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
No. Okay. If you'd like to help the show and get more music on the channel, please go to patreon.com and donate. There you get more involved with the show and determine who and what is filmed. We have 3 new patrons. We have Linz with a Z.
Linz. Thanks, Linz.
We have Faith from California. Thank you, Faith.
Mahalo.
And we have Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Hello, Dave.
So, Dave, thank you. Dave didn't give a location.
Okay. Dave from somewhere.
He gets a shout out. Thank you, Dave, very much for your donation. And, man, we have had a lot of music on the channel lately. So, that's been great. It's been nice to actually been putting out content constantly and giving everybody stuff that they can.
And so you standing in a room for the white balance.
Yeah. So that may be a new location shot. We don't know. We're trying to work it out and stuff. Yeah.
It's just weird that you're the only guy standing in the middle of the room. Just like,
well, the hard part is because we have all these places where they want us to get the view, right? And that would, of course, you want the view because there's Diamond Head behind you, right? But then you're in a dark room and there's sunlight outside, and then you gotta light it a certain way, and there's glass windows, so then you gotta, there's reflections of the it's a whole thing. So all right, thank you to Kupu Kupu Landscaping, landscape architects. Call Kevin Yokomura 808-722-8685 for a free estimate, or go to kupukupulandscaping.com. And of course, thank you to Fort Brugger Market. We were just in there today and it was packed. We couldn't get parking, so things are going well over at Fort.
And by the way, thank you for the cucumber kimchi or cucumber.
Yeah, cucumber kimchi.
Whatever that was. That was good.
It was good. Yeah, so they ran out of lomi salmon today, so we got cucumber kimchi as a substitute, which was fine.
Yeah.
It was delicious. Yeah. Okay. We would like to... Oh, you can find Kyle at Highlight Clothing. Okay. We'd like to introduce our guest right now. Kamuela Kahoano.
Hey!
No stranger to the show. We've had him on before. Musician, model, dad, extraordinaire,
investor.
And
Investor.
So we last time he was on. Oh, you know what? Oh, sorry. Wait. Wait, before we go before we go too far, I keep forgetting to do these things, and I really should be doing them, but I always do them at the end of the show because I have to promote myself. If you are going to be in these areas coming up in the end of October to November, I will be going through Nagoya, Kobe, Nara, and Hiroshima.
Is that
with Herb Ota Jr.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So you can go to Herb's page or my page for details, but I will be up there at the end of October into November. So
come on, have you done touring and stuff in Japan?
I did once. Yeah. Maybe twice.
Was it's all solo, just sort of go up and
Well, one was solo like that, where I sold tickets at different venues, and then I played those venues along with other performers that were performing there. So it was through like a house manager promotions person, and then the other one was through Odaiba Festival. So that was one where I just went, and then I could have done more festivals, but the problem was that pandemic nixed the. And then they didn't really have funding for the next, and it wasn't that, it was like COVID as well. Yeah. So you couldn't go there, and then it was like, all right, it's just too much going on.
What was your experience like with that?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, no, Odaiba one is big, right?
Yeah. I mean, because it's a large area. It's not necessarily like, everyone's going to see you and in front of the stage. But what happens is there's like 750 people encompassed around you, so like they can watch you sort of like an amphitheater, but they're doing stuff like shopping and cruising. It's kind of like a mall, but it's packed. And then and they have that pretty much at every festival that I've seen out there.
The thing is, once COVID hit, a lot of those festivals just stopped, and it's not like, we're just gonna pick up right again where we left off, So even when I'm going for this trip, a lot of it is just really small venues, and you just do a lot.
This
of
is you guys doing the teaching thing, right? So Herb scolding people about...
Herb will probably be yelling at people.
Again.
That's funny.
And I'll be watching a lot of YouTube or whatever I do while I'm waiting. But okay. You just got back from the happiest place on earth. And I thought, Devon would want to talk about this. So why don't we start off with your trip to Disneyland?
Yeah, it was awesome. Took the family up. This time
because it was school break, fall break,
fall break. Yeah.
Literally just went last week.
In fact, my daughter took the test for Kamehameha schools, and then like literally after that, we left the hill and then went straight to the airport.
Wow. Oh my gosh!
Then, so that was. I mean, they've been doing great in school. Her and my son, and then mommy needed a sort of a respite from her very busy schedule as well as I. So we decided to hop on a plane and just go to Disneyland and enjoy it much as we could. Fortunately, you know how Disneyland works, right? It's like you're in the armed forces, and you gotta you gotta schedule, and you gotta keep it, and hotel,
get
to the park, get into the line, back in the thing, get the blah.
It sounds stressful sometimes to go through that.
It's very well. We didn't really have too much stress. It was just the stress was on the tendons. If you get my drift, it's just every muscle hurt, and. I don't want to say at my age because it's not necessarily true, but I kind of went in injured. So when you go in injured already and then you're walking and standing up and waiting in line, your daughter wants you to carry her all over the place.
Yeah.
You can take it. Hey, there you go.
Because they're right at that age where it's like not quite, like I can just do my own thing. I'm not going to get carried.
Right.
But they're kind of heavy.
Heavy.
They're not like 7 pounds.
She reaches the height requirement. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It's like carry, daddy.
Yeah.
Just hold on to the sign.
You don't have the Costco wagon to drag them around in.
So we could have got a second stroller, but what we did was because my son, so he's Asperger's, yeah. So what we did was he went into the stroller most of the time, and then my daughter had to kind of walk outside. But we told him like, let's try and do more of you walking around. And then, everybody can kind of have a happy balance. Well, it wasn't a happy balance, but it was a balance.
Yeah.
And they managed to kind of share the time between the two. So that's a nice step.
How is he with Disneyland? Because that's a lot of stimulus.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like all the time.
What is the Asperger's?
It's on the.
So there's a what is the one that
it's
Elon
autism.
has?
It's on the autism spectrum.
Oh, autism. Okay. Yeah. But they're the same thing. It's just a different spectrum of it.
No, not really. No. I mean, it's on the autism spectrum. It's a little farther over. I should let the guy who actually has this has it explain.
So I mean, there's things that the textbooks teach you, but then I kind of have my own beliefs for what autism could be.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I might have had autism, by all these definitions.
Right.
Yeah, that
I don't
was
like
me.
people.
Like all the way down, every single one. It's like everything he's doing is now considered like Asperger's or, this. I had dyslexia. I had the freakouts. I had the, what would it be? The differential of attention. So at some points your attention is like just super sharp, and that's what it was for music for me. But then anytime you took it off music or art and you went into something else, like say math or literacy, like you just couldn't get me to do it. And I just didn't care, and I didn't want to pay attention or anything. I didn't even know I existed in Earth. I didn't know how to grasp the concept of existence socially. So that took a while until I was like maybe, I don't know, 7 before I even realized that was like what this was about.
So you guys are in that discovery stage, I guess, with your son too, whether it be a music or maybe it's
and fortunately we don't have any kind of like problems that the other parts of the world has. No. So he's not really traumatized into understanding these things at an early age. And so we're fortunate of that. However, when it comes to going on a ride, he hasn't even been on a ride yet, and he's over there like, I don't want to do that. And they were like, son, you've never been on this ride before. And then he's like, no, but I don't want to. And then I'm like, okay, well, what do you want to do? I don't want to do it. I don't want to go to the doctor. And then he'll like say stuff like that. And they were like, so he's connecting it with something completely irrelevant. And so we're just kind of building those bands. I know a lot of parents are going through that too. He's 6 going on 7.
Okay. Did he eventually go on a ride and enjoy at Disneyland?
So his favorites were Alice in Wonderland and pretty much the spookiest parts of the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, I've never been. Have you been on the Haunted Mansion?
That's when you sit and it goes to different floors, right?
Yeah.
No. That's Tower of Terror, which is now Guardians of the Galaxy.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. But we got our revenge. We took him on Big Thunder Railroad because he met the height requirement, and so did my daughter. So we took a 4-year-old onto Big Thunder Railroad.
Nice.
And it was funny because I remember going to Space Mountain when I was 8 and freaking out.
Yeah.
She was 4. And she's literally lifting off the seat, like left and right on the bumps, and so I had to like catch her like a football. it was like, oh my god, that I had to reach over and do this the whole time. And
was she scared or enjoying herself though?
She enjoyed the first bump, and then after that, she became Bingo from Bluey. Where she was she's like, I had enough. This is too much. And then that's only like the first, I don't know, 7th of the ride or whatever. I don't know which one was that fraction. But then she's like, for the rest of it, she's like, I don't want to stop. And the whole time, me and Mom were just cracking up.
Oh, wait, Devin, you're a Disneyland fanatic. Yes. Your kids both enjoy the rides? No.
Devin goes for himself mostly.
Really? Much, so neither of them.
My wife and I go for ourselves. We drag the kids along, and pretty much the deal we make with them is you are riding a ride. You're riding all the rides that we tell you to ride. You're going to ride them at least once. If you don't like them after that, you don't have to ride them after that, but you will ride them at least once. And so, and mostly because they're just not that intense. I mean, the super intense one is obviously the Tower of Terror thing, right? Which is now Guardians of the Galaxy, which if you have motion sickness at all, I do not recommend you riding because it's changed. Tower of Terror used to be, the whole sequence of talking about the whole, Twilight Zone thing. And then when you end, you're at the top and the thing goes down and you can see all of Disneyland. You go, oh my God. And then it drags you down and it bounces you around. Right. But you do most of it in darkness. So the thing comes down, you see Disneyland, it drags you down, it pushes you up, it drags you down, it pushes you up, you see the outside again, and it drags you down and bounces you, and then you're out, right? Now, the ride is different because Guardians of the Galaxy made it so that it goes up. Actually, no, it doesn't. It goes middle, it shows you a thing, then it goes all the way up, then it drags you down, then it goes up into the middle, then it goes up a little bit, and then down a little bit, and then up a little bit, and then down a little bit, and then goes shoot you back up, and then down again. And it makes the ride way longer, but at every level is a screen. And on that screen, you see the screen, and then the thing that you're in bounces. And you see you know what I mean? You see that movement, and that was it, dude. I couldn't. Oh, wow. The movement.
You didn't get to ride it?
Messed me up.
We didn't do it this time because we just kind of didn't. We certainly weren't going to take the kids on there.
Yeah, it's for the little ones. So
anything with the height requirement was too tall. We didn't do it. But dude, did I mention to you that you should probably think about doing audio for Disney?
Why?
I don't know. Just sound like you could do audio for Disney.
I'd love to. That'd be great.
Just saying.
Thank you.
I'll be
We'll
thinking about you if I'll
Thank
put
you.
in a good word for you if I ever get in there somehow.
What do you mean, like him playing a cartoon character or something, or
I could see
narrating
Devon
a
being a
ride?
cartoon character.
I don't know. It's just something about your voice, and because I was just there, and I'm saying it like fits or Matt. I don't know.
No, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. But you know, now there's the Marvel universe there. There's a lot more Pixar stuff. There's a lot more parades and such. So it seems like Disneyland is, I would venture to say, better than it used to be. Because you know, before it used to just be the Magic Kingdom, and that's all you had.
Do they still
Then
have
had-
It's a Small World?
Yes, they will always have
You
It's a
wrote
Small
that.
World.
It was down.
It was
No
down.
way.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
there were a bunch of rides that were down.
You know what? When I went with my friend's kids for the first time. My feet got so sore walking around. I threw away my shoes and I started wearing slippers the rest of the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But then I started thinking, what ride can I do to just cruise and sit down and not worry about
That's
walking?
the one.
Right.
And I go, it's a small world. So I sat in that thing and I was like, okay. I'm sitting in that. And then the music started. And by the end of that ride, I was so sick of that song. I wanted for beef already.
Yeah.
That thing is irritating, bro, being played over and over.
Wow, I mean, well, actually, you should have went into the Haunted Mansion because Haunted Mansion is not that stressful. You're sitting
Until
in
the
a little
end?
cart. It's super air conditioned because there's so much projections. So that's the coolest ride, and it's dark majority of the time. So if you decide to take a nap, that's that one and Nemo's, the Finding Nemo ride.
Yeah.
That one, because you get into a little like air conditioned sub thing.
Oh.
They gotta dim the lights because you gotta watch the projections. Bro, I'm out in 2 minutes
Right.
on that ride. As soon as the bubbles start, I'm like, oh, here we go. God.
So you and your wife have favorite rides and your kids have separate favorite rides, basically, then?
Yeah, I would say for now, I've been there so many times already in my life that I don't really care what ride I'm on. But I will say this: one of the best rides on there, two of my favorites, are Soarin'.
Oh,
Well, three.
yeah.
Let's do three: Soarin', Matterhorn, and then Mickey's Railroad.
We haven't ridden Mickey's Railroad yet.
Yeah,
really
because of the
good?
way they put it together. If you've ever been to Tokyo Disney, the highlight is like the new land and the frozen rides and all that. And the
Yeah.
reason is because of the animatronics that they have
Right.
are spectacular.
Right.
If you go to the Mickey ride, that's exactly what's going on. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they said the guys from Tokyo made this because, or whoever did the ones in Tokyo made this too. Because it's just, I mean, the detail and the physics and everything is just like perfect.
Is it I saw my friends just went too. In fact, they were there at the same time as you, I think. So it's a ride like you're in a car, right? Like a rail car.
Train car.
And then is it all? So it's animatronics and screens, or?
Yeah, so it's every type of media all together. In fact, one thing I noticed that was really cool was the Mickey heads, Mickey and Minnie, when they're driving in their car, they kind of have this like slow human-like bounce to them.
Oh.
And then at the same time, their ears bounce at a different rate and back and forth. So it almost looks rubbery. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. The attention to detail on that. Anyway, okay.
That's kind of cool that you actually pay attention to that.
No, I just
little
feel
thing.
like I should probably shut up at this point because, I mean, I've been looking at the physics for all of those rides since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, how did they do this? How did they make it work? And now my son is kind of like taking that spot where he's leaning out the side of the ride to try and see where the animatronics are and where the lighting ends, where reality stops and fantasy begins, you know? Yeah.
My
Or the
uncle
other way
punched
around.
Goofy.
Punched Goofy.
Yeah, when he first went, a long time ago, I heard the story that they were taking pictures and he punched Goofy in the stomach because he thought they were all animatronic. He didn't think that it was a person in there.
I thought maybe they had a problem or something.
No.
Just because it's your family member.
No, so when I went for the first time, I was warned. That's not
Because it was more like, watch this.
yeah. When I first went, I was warned. Don't punch because
That
Uncle
sounds
did
like
that.
something you would do, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, speaking of robots, I've been asking everybody this question.
Okay.
So Tesla just unveiled its
yeah.
robo-taxi and its Optimus robot.
Yep.
The Optimus robot, Devon,
Did you
if
say Optimus robot?
That's what they call it.
that's what they're calling it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you just envision the robot from
iRobot
with Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
It looks almost exactly what that robot looks like.
No face.
And it's a humanoid robot that Elon Musk says will at some point be able to be in your house. It will cook for you. It will walk your dog. It will clean. It will do things around your house and whatever.
$30,000.
Yeah. That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because he basically, I was here talking about it. He said it's a lot of the components are similar to what's in the cars, so they just are putting it into a robotic form. So it's like it's actually not as much material. But okay, so would you all have one in your house if you could afford it?
Can I swear on the show?
Yeah, definitely can.
Hell no! I would not. Not that I don't
swearing,
respect
man.
it.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll have hopefully 2 homes in the future, and I'll put the robot at one, and then I'll live in the other one. Because it's just too much that could go wrong.
Yeah.
I've seen too many movies, man. I feel the same way. As much as
you saw Alien, you're like, no, man, we're not doing
Well,
that.
talk about a thing that you're gonna purchase and forget about the fact that thing could be spying on you the whole time.
Yeah.
And where is all that information going?
right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that and okay, I was thinking
It's
like,
going out there.
well, you think like, well, okay, I can turn it off. Who says it can't turn itself back on?
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, oh, maybe I'll put it in a closet or something. The thing can cook and it obviously can open doors and move around and stuff. I just feel like I'm gonna be sleeping, and I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be looking over me and be like,
how do you even unplug it? Because it's battery. So
Right.
I mean,
it's just too creepy.
Yeah. So programs, overwriting a program is something that's interesting, right, in the world of AI. If you can overwrite a program, and I saw something like on Google one time where this is like the type of thing they had, their search engines were based on this, where if they went along a certain map, and if that roadmap did not work out, they had all these other nodes that they could follow. And then that turned into neural networking and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you got all this stuff together, working together and then changing itself all the time, that technically is a program rewrite, in my opinion. I don't think that it's that simple. I think this is a lot more complex in terms of how robots can rewire their programming. Like the Wild Robot, for example, just said, oh, I rewired my programming, or I rewrote it. And then it's like, yeah, okay. But if you could, in theory, change certain things about your analysis algorithm, then you technically can rewrite your programming. Now, if you can do that, the end game to that is to completely rewrite it so that it favors your logic base. And if that's the case, then iRobot, in my opinion, got it right, where you can create a robot that overwrites its code to the point of destroying human values or human existence or human notions that threaten their existence, right? I might be sounding stupid at this point, but the end game to all of this is, I just saw that video of like a small little drone that they manufactured. It goes like this. They throw it up. The drone goes somewhere, comes like this, and lands right on the forehead and sends explosives 6 inches into the head and destroys the entire brain. Yeah, just because it landed there.
Didn't they have one that looks like an insect too, that you can't tell?
Yeah, that's the one.
Like
So-
it looks like an insect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they just throw it, and so you can't tell, and it's going straight for you, and it's precision accurate. So this is scary stuff, and you can manufacture those things fairly easily. I mean, imagine one day if you can get a hold of the blueprints for something like that, and then you got a great 3D printer that can technically create like semiconductor chips, simple ones. And if those are the ones that are being used, all you need is programming.
So
Now, okay, David, you haven't answered. Would you have a robot in your? Because what I think is going to happen, maybe you should answer.
No, go ahead. What do you think is going to happen?
What I think is going to happen is you're going to have there's always going to be early adapters, right? There's going to be people who buy one because they have the extra money, and then it's their bartender. So you go to a party and it's a fun party trick, right? And then, yes. And then once that becomes normal, and then a few years goes by, then it's like, oh, this thing can actually do more than I thought it was. And then they got to go to, it's like, oh, this actually helped. And then they buy another one. Now you have 2 or 3 of these. And it is going to start becoming a mainstream thing. And it's going to take many, many years. But at some point, it will be everywhere. And then at that point, it's like, well,
it's art in Japan, right? They have hotels with the robots.
Well, they have like at the shopping center. They have
shopping centers.
Yeah, things walking around, and you can get information and stuff like that.
Go ahead.
What?
Would you get one? Because you're the guy with the toys and needed to get it first.
I would not get one because my wife would not let me get one. That's probably the main thing.
Because here's a question too. You look at this thing right now, and it looks humanoid, but you can tell it's not a human.
Right.
There's gonna come a point where you can't tell if it's a human or not.
Right.
Then will it be more comfortable or more creepy? Because if this thing looked like a garbage pail right now, running around like a Roomba, you're not.
Yeah, I think it'd be more
intimidated as it.
Yeah,
being
I think people would be more
now.
interested in it if it looked like a dog or something.
Yeah,
or
not a dog, but maybe like R2D2 or something.
Yeah,
Where's
R2.
the dog doing the dishes?
like it's either gotta go super robotic looking or super realistic to make people feel comfortable. It's right now in its stage that it's kind of weird.
Well, here's the other thing too. Think about them I don't know what they're calling it now, Web3, metaverse. But let's say, you have the robots, but then you also have this thing about being online in whatever personality you want to be, and then having that character be a business advocate for you or whatever, and then having this thing in your home. It's like, to me, it's like you've lost all reality. You've lost all physical reality, right? And now you're either relying on a robot or you're. To me, I'd rather just get out there and, I don't know, pick some kalo if I have to, and then enjoy the beach. You know what I mean? And live my days out. If it comes to the point where medicine gets so good that we live to be like 200, then it might make sense to try have a robot and help you along. But I mean, to think that everyone's going to have that 30,000 after all these jobs are wiped out, that's another thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But another thing too, it could be a precursor to a future look, where maybe you won't be able to go outside anymore. Maybe there won't be a clean beach to go jump into. And everything is gonna be controlled indoors, and this is the start of it.
Well, the other thing that was kind of crazy, technology speaking.
That's really dark. We got really dark all of a sudden on this pod. I'm like,
how did we even get on this topic?
I don't know.
I'm gonna veer into way left field.
Okay.
But because this thing just happened yesterday, and I thought it was really cool. So yesterday was the Jets game.
Oh yeah, that is
right. The Jets football game, right? And that thing. But the main thing is Jeff Ulbrich is the head coach for the Jets, and I thought that was really cool.
You tweeted me about that, but okay, you're a Seahawks fan,
yeah?
Right? So the Jets are in New York.
Jets in New York, but Jeff Ulbrich, I think when he played here as a linebacker, he was he was like all world as a linebacker. Yeah, but he was about as Hawaii a player as we could have wanted to get from who was not from Hawaii. He's like like Cole Brennan kind.
Okay,
and he played for San Francisco, which should already, as a Seattle fan, maybe go, ugh! But I think I followed him because he was such an underdog. He came onto the team, played really well, kept his nose clean. There was never really a problem with him. He went into the NFL. He was kind of a long shot to make the team.
What era did he play? Did he play here during the Cole Brennan era?
I think it was just before. Yeah.
Timmy?
Yeah, it might have been Timmy time. But he fought through all that stuff, became a coach. We thought that was really cool. And I actually, after that, he kind of dropped off the earth and I didn't know what happened to him. And then last week they were saying, Robert Saleh, who was the coach for the Jets, got kicked off. And now, hey, look, it's Jeff Ulbrich. And I went, holy shit, Jeff Ulbrich is the head coach of the Jets? What? And just the fact that he would accomplish that. And he's always been very proud of the time that he spent at UH and the his development as a player and as a football person and just as a person living here. So I just thought that was really cool, and I was really happy for him. I mean, they lost the game, but and then they were saying, I don't know how he's doing it because he had to be the head coach, but he was also calling the defenses at the same time. And the Jets didn't do too good on defense yesterday, but he might have been a little distracted.
Yeah. He's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
But and he's the only guy I know from Hawaii besides who I don't think we've had a coach who's like played in the UH system, who's
June
our
Jones.
head. Oh yeah,
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Played,
but I mean,
played.
but played for UH and
June played for you.
no, he played. Did he play for UH? He didn't play for UH.
This
We should know this, and we don't.
This is a fact find for later.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is where it'd be good if we had a screen with Google on it.
Yeah. That's true. Well, I have my phone somewhere.
No. It's okay.
But anyway.
We need a Jamie here.
A Jamie White?
From like Rogan.
Oh, yeah.
Fact check everything we say.
Well, Kamu, I wanted to ask you about this, and this is why I thought, because, I like to, I do my normal investments, my standard responsible investments, like, into my Roth and my whatever and all
as
that
you
stuff.
should.
As I should. But then I have my side things, like I collect baseball cards.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also buy penny stocks, and I do this and that. And whenever there's an interesting news story, I throw some money at things from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit of gambling. I understand that, but it's extra money that I set aside for that kind of stuff.
Do you have a broker, or do you just do it online?
I just do it online.
Okay.
So I have a legitimate broker that I do my regular investing, and I have a small account that I just do kind of fun stuff with.
I know you've been teaching your kids to do that too.
Yeah, and so in that is all my kids. I let my kids pick stocks and stuff.
I use my kids' money.
They're using my money.
Right. You don't need this $3,000. Let's just put that over there.
They're using my money. What are you talking about? But it's to learn about the stock market and why things go up. Because, it's funny.
Why things go up.
Or down,
watch this go down real quick.
Because the rich guys go, I'm going to buy that stock. That's why the thing goes up.
No, it's funny because in their heads, they start rationalizing things, and you see how, I used to think this way. Like, they'll say something like, McDonald's got the new McRib coming out, so a lot of people are going to buy that, so I want to buy a McDonald's stock or something. I'm just making something up. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, and what you got to explain to them is, like, if you know about that, and that's why that's already priced in. Like, you got to think about stuff that's never happened yet but could happen. You got to be almost like a future seer.
You're basically using your real estate smarts to move it over to stocks and trading and stuff, and then it's almost the same collective reasoning, to be honest.
Yeah, well, and I just like to have a good time with it, and have something to talk about with some of my friends that do this. I have a good friend that does a lot of crypto stuff, so he talks about that, and I talk about my penny stocks.
Does he have a lot of money?
We are not investing large sums.
Capital.
These are not.
Did you ever make a lot of money?
No. I'd say, well, okay, like
Depends
anything.
what a lot of money is.
Anything over the long run, I probably would have just been better off just putting it in a index mutual fund, Okay. So I've had these huge ups and I've had these huge downs, and in the end, I'm probably somewhere ahead, but not as ahead as if I just, invested. Normally.
Yeah.
It's just like baseball cards, right? I mean, you buy a bunch, and I'm probably down, but I have a few cards that are worth a few $100, and it's fun, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But so when I go online, and sometimes I tease stuff of what I'm buying and whatnot, and this guy's always commenting on because he runs in the same kind of circle, and he does some of that, some of that stuff.
YOLO.
And so I learned through talking to you and whatnot that you do a little online trading. And I've never been bold enough to really make it like something that I would even pull money out of. It's just kind of like, okay, this is money that I'm throwing around with, and one day, maybe if I hit big, I can pay for half my daughter's wedding with it or something like that. In 20 years or something like that. Well, but nowadays it's getting kind of close to not 20 years, but so. How did you get into this trading stocks, and explain a little bit of what you can tell us about your second profession or this hobby that you have? I don't know what you want to call it.
So, first of all, there's two things about trading that you have to learn first, period, before you do anything else. And you learn this in the rest of your applications in life, however you do it, right? Whatever your profession is, and you do it really well, better than anything else, you're going to know that you're going to minimize your risk. Right? So you minimize your risk as much as possible, as well as maintaining smart thesis about what's going to happen next. But you need good data aggregates to be able to accrue that information, right? So that's the first thing I learned about stocks and trading. And what's funny is
but before because you said you started this a few years ago.
No, but that's what I learned first. So when I came into it, the very first thing I did was this guy calls me up, and he liked me because his wife liked me playing the song, what is it? Backstreet Boys.
I Want It That Way?
I want,
Okay.
that way. And then, I was like, my brother sings that better. I'm not going to sing it. Da, da, da. He was a boy band guy for real. Da, da, da. And then they're like, you sing it right now. So then I sang it. This was at Rumfire some many, many years ago. And then I come to find out that he manages a giant portfolio. Like, I'm not going to say how big, but let's just say you could buy an island. And he goes, I want to talk some business stuff with you. So over the years, we started, and then I said, how about you help me out with like an investment of mine? I really want to get into gold. Can you, figure something out? Well, no, I said, just so I want to get into something. He said, I'll put you in gold. And so he actually helped me make 40% in 1 year.
Wow.
So had I given him like, $100,000, I would have made 40 grand back.
Wow.
And
wasn't Peter Schiff, right?
No, it wasn't Peter Schiff. Okay. In fact, everybody who's out there that's making big money, if they tell you how they're making that money, you probably, just don't listen. Like, listen a little bit. Listen to what they're saying, because what they're saying is important. They're either going to tell you about their experience, their life story, or like, something that helps them out with trading. But that environment, that landscape is always changing, right? So you cannot possibly think that because someone tells you something, that's the end, So then I got involved in Stuart Ramos's trading group through Hawaiian Ryan.
Yeah.
And this was something where, it was all off the cuff, and Stu was like, he just sounded like he was a good teacher. So I got into that, and then I was like, so I actually paid for a subscription, and I'm not sure who else paid, but I definitely paid, because I knew that whatever this guy was going to teach me, it was going to hit, it was going to land, and I was going to, as long as I put in the work. So I took almost the entirety of the pandemic and listened to them a little bit while they were trading. I wasn't in what's called the mentorship, but I was in the basic level stuff. And I started looking at, okay, how do you chart? How do you gather data aggregate? What are the best ones for me as opposed to whatever they're using? Because what they're using, if you're looking at order flow, everybody has a different way of looking at order flow. Like sometimes you'll catch a big order or something, and some people can see like 100 different orders.
So you got to explain to everybody what order flow is.
Right. So I can't possibly explain everything, because there would be no way. But order flow is basically whatever order comes in, you're going to see it in real time. And usually you would use, what is that called?
Some kind of software.
There's people buying the...
Yeah, I don't use it anymore, but...
yeah, so it would be orders for stocks.
Okay. Yeah, so you're going to look, and there's going to be red, green, red sells and green buys, right? So you're going to see these things battle each other out, and then you're going to see an order come through, 11,000 shares. That's way more than 100, right? And then you start to realize that things go in 100 increments. So shares that reach 100 have a whole new level of... You're not locked in how you can trade them, how you can deal with them on both the short term and the long term. So you start thinking, okay, I'm going to think in terms of 100 shares instead of terms of one share. Because people do micro trading all the time. It does nothing. Because the real money is in 100 and above increments. So you're not talking about 101 unless you're talking about making one covered call on your 100 shares and then keeping the one to kind of monitor. So... And what's ironic is I trade mostly from my phone. Mm-hmm. So I just wake up in the morning, and then I kind of I knew all my aggregates from the day before, and then you spend about maybe 2 hours gathering.
So it's like momentum trading, basically.
Yeah, but I do it
because you're watching where things are going, and then kind of seeing, making decisions based on that. Again,
that's super risky to think that it's going to go every day where you can look at something, and then the next day it's either going to pan out or it's not going to pan out. It's going to be complete panic, complete surprise, complete disappointment, all of the rougher emotions that are encapsulating around the basic trading stuff is the thing you should fear, because all that stuff is going to creep in and make you try to second guess what you're doing. And so you really have to have a level head in considering the data that you've been given. Most of the times it's manipulated. So there's big surprises out there, and all you can do, at least what works best for me, is to look at things now both in the short term and the very long term, and then analyze kind of like a halfway point, and then you start to think of things in terms of fractals and they call it fibs in trading, Fibonacci series, where you have, certain 0.618 is like the famous one, and then
you learned all of this during COVID.
Dude, that's not even scratching the surface. Like it's trading itself.
But you started doing this during COVID?
Yeah.
Like the interest in it just started?
I had no gigs. I had to give back $18,000 in deposits.
Oh, God.
For weddings that were not going to occur.
Yeah.
And I didn't make that money now. So we're talking about I was way in the red. And then I took $7,000 that I had lying around. I didn't know anything about Roth IRAs or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I put it into, and I didn't want to put it in a Roth IRA until I had another account that was super significant already.
Okay.
Because if you just throw something into an IRA, well, you're kind of waiting until you retire before you can do anything with it.
Yeah.
And all of your money will start to accrue. You might as well do both and then learn. Anyway, financial advice.
Well, what is the, I know, but what is the other account? Because there's a Roth, there's a simple IRA you can put into.
Yeah, you just opened up
money market stuff. You just opened up something so you can do trading.
You can do any type of exchange, or trade. Any type of trading platform that you want to use, whatever works for you. I mean, I have 3, 4, 5 different accounts across Schwab. No, do I use Schwab? I don't even think I use Schwab. But Schwab bought the one that I was TOS that I was using before. So now that's Schwab. Fidelity I use. Webull I use. So if something happens with the U.S., hey, I got some money in China. If something happens in China, I got money in the U.S. You start to then get your fingers into everything, and for coins and things like that, I use Gemini. We're actually lucky in Hawaii because they almost ended the entire ability to trade crypto in Hawaii.
Well, I thought you can, because I was listening to another podcast and John Sally was on it, and he's a crypto guy. John Sally, the basketball player.
Oh yeah, I was like, John Sally.
And he's like, hey man, you can trade crypto from PayPal. And I was like, really? Or you can buy crypto from PayPal. So I'm like, I opened my PayPal app and it says right there, buy Bitcoin. And I'm like, all right. And I clicked it and it says, this is not available in your area yet.
Yeah. So certain things don't allow it. And I was going to get in Bitcoin when it was $300.
Oh.
I was looking at it and I was like, this looks like a really weird website, but they were selling Bitcoin. And I was like, I want this, but for some reason I can't purchase it in Hawaii. And it was the weirdest thing. I was like, purchase. I can't find where's the purchase button? And then my friend hits me up later and she's like, hey, Bitcoin is now legal tender in Japan. They're allowing it to be traded and sold and bought. So after that happened, it went to 1,200 like overnight.
Wow.
And then I was like, wow, it's 1,200 now. I better get at least one. And then I still couldn't buy it in the U.S. So it didn't open up, but people were buying it in Japan. That's how they were getting it.
I see.
So I couldn't do that.
Or they were mining it.
But it was available in the U.S. Even at like 300. It's just I didn't travel there and be able to pick it up. So I had to wait until it was like, 13,000? And that was when it was down from 20 before I could actually open an account. I just found this thing all of a sudden. It was Gemini. And that's the two brothers, the Winklevoss twins.
Okay.
Oh.
And they set that up. And so I bought my first half a coin and I was like, let's see what happens with this. And it went up like double instantly. And I was like, whoa, this is a good investment. I like these 200 gains type of thing. So I said, okay, what I'm going to do then is spread everything across crypto. And again, everybody's different, not financial advice. But I go spread everything across like crypto, and then at least until the crypto buzz is kind of like done or evening out, which is sort of happening after this next bump, if there is one. We're like right on the cusp. Right now it's an interesting time because it's like 67, I think it was hit today, 67 something.
Okay.
Which is just below like the highs, right?
Yeah, I think 70 was the highest.
70 was the highest, something like that.
Is it $70 or
$70,000 per Bitcoin? Yeah.
Per coin, yeah. So
half a Bitcoin.
Yeah. So I sold that half and then I had bought it back to try to, and then I was like, okay, so maybe I could sort of swing trade this, and then a bear market hit.
Swing trade?
Yeah. Crypto winter is what they call it.
Okay.
So I was swing trading is buying it now, selling it later, way later, like anywhere between 3 weeks to like 3 years down the road. Which swing trading works really well if you're thinking about investing long term. That's where it gets really interesting, because then you can start applying the wheel, covered calls and catch
these are all
secured
things
puts.
that you learned either through looking at websites, or is this all from that class that you took?
You get vocabulary. You look up that vocabulary. You see how it operates in the trading market, which you can do through paper trading. Big term, paper trading. That's how everyone that's starting trading should do for 3 months prior to even their first investment. And again, I didn't do that, but that's.
I have a question, okay?
Yeah.
Because when you were talking about your childhood and how you excelled in arts and creativity, but math and English and stuff was something that was kind of foreign to you at our time.
Calculus was hard. Calculus, okay. I probably nail it now. I got an A in physics when I went back to college.
So you were a math person when you were a kid then?
I was a pattern person.
A pattern person.
Yeah, so I could recognize patterns, in some cases game theory, but I didn't know it was game theory until I got older.
Okay, so this came naturally for you when you got interested in stocks then?
Yeah, my coming of age, in terms of mature intelligence, didn't hit until I was already like 25. And so at that point, everything was like, gotta turn the ship around and and try to do whatever I can to, and then I had several failures, and you talk about music, that was the biggest success I ever had. And what's weird is that I'm not famous, but I used the monetary gains from that success. Speaking of which, thank you to Lehua Kalima for singing On Mama Loves You, because that song, I got my first 200% gains from just royalties on a song. And I told her that I would give her, and again, this is because, there's a story that goes a little deeper, but, as my mahalo, I would give her 25% of all gains after the recoup. Cool. So that's what I'm aiming to do. I've said it on camera, and that's what I'm doing. So you have a check due you, Lehua. And
she's a lovely person.
Yes, yeah. And she was the perfect person to sing that song. So I think it's now at like 11 million streams. 700,000 people used that song on their videos on TikTok.
You get money off that?
Yeah,
I did. Yeah. Well, what happened was it goes through DistroKid. Yeah. And then DistroKid sends it to me.
So you get like a $5 check for all
so okay. There's this crazy thing that pops up on. Sorry, I'm going to go on a tangent because you just reminded me of something. There's this crazy thing. It's some kind of trend where women stand and they kind of do this, and their clothes change, and the music is a cover of what is Gloria Stefan's Mammy Sound Machine, Dr. Beat, emergency paging, Dr. Beat, emergency. But it's this dumb like. I watched a whole YouTube video about this. So like it was made the remix that you're hearing on Instagram was made by some Filipino guy, and it's just like Filipino underground dance mix kind of way they do this thing. Anyway, this thing is everywhere on Instagram now all of a sudden. And I'm just thinking, this dude made this remix thing that is now he's probably making hundreds if not thousands of dollars.
Wait, but he makes money off that, or does
I mean, they have to pay a royalty, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But he's probably making a good portion of the money.
You think Rick Roll made Rick Astley a lot of money?
Probably.
I don't know, because he's not the writer, right?
Well, whoever owns the song, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's why he what he says is important about owning your publishing.
So I don't know what's going on with that song in the rest of the world, but it hasn't hit the U.S. yet.
What, Rick Roll?
No, Mama Loves You.
Mama. Okay.
Yeah. So when that actually happens, and it gets into say a TV show or a movie or something like that, I mean, it's a beautiful song about Mother's Day.
But where is it hitting
and being
now?
a mother. Philippines was where it became famous, which is ironic because originally when I was hearing the first iteration of this song, Lea Salonga, I wanted her to sing it. I called her manager, and then nobody even called me back. So they just took it as like, this is not going to be a serious thing, whatever.
Yeah.
And ironically, it became famous in the Philippines, which is where she's like biggest.
I wonder how it works now, because back in my day, in the old days, like you'd have a CD or something, right? And then you would sell your CDs and they would do well, and that's how you made money here, right? But then I remember one of Kia Hivai's songs, Fallen, became huge in the Philippines. And I was like, great, back up the money truck. You know, like, come on, let's do that. And then they explained to me, they're like, no, we're not going to get anything from that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, why not?
Yeah.
And they said, well, in the Philippines, they don't really have, they don't buy CDs because they can't afford CDs or whatever. So they just burn it. Oh. So you're not gonna get a ton of sales out of this thing.
You get a ton of listens, but
you get a lot of listens and no sales and stuff. And even now, if you go on YouTube, you type in that song, there's people covering it from the Philippines. But I'm wondering now, like, so if you get big, so the way that it works, that Kamuela was trying to explain, is that say he writes that song, Lehua sings it, they publish it, and there's an online distributor, okay, that's in charge of monitoring where this thing goes and collecting royalties. And if it's picked up by TikTok now has a system that if it's played, they pay some kind of royalty back to the artist. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if now it doesn't matter if it's played in the Philippines. It's not like you get, because it's like 0.00001 cent per stream or whatever, right? So, but I don't think it matters if it's in the Philippines or if it's in Russia or if it's in the U.S. You still get central. Yeah.
International royalties operate differently in different countries.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is true. Some are more than others, but in general, right, it's the distribution service that is going to be kind of creating these things and then making exceptions in different countries, for, just making it all work. So from what I know, in the publishing sense, which is where you're getting your royalties from,
right,
the publishing will be different internationally. I have different international publishing in Japan than I do in Hawaii, but for the same song.
Right.
Yeah, and so they pay different rates. All around the world.
Yeah. And what's interesting is when you sign up for, like, if you're on DistroKid and say, like, I covered Kamu's song, when I enter my information, I put in there writer Kamuela Kahoano, and then that. So
he gets the proper credit.
Yeah. So when DistroKid collects, they pay him some. It's all kind of there, and they won't let you. They won't let you enter the thing and let you put until you put a writer. Now, if I wrote the song and I didn't write the song, then theoretically, I guess he could come and sue me and try to get,
if I found out.
Yeah, if you found out. But
chances of you finding out mean it would have to have been like an international hit.
Yeah.
Since you guys are musicians, I have a question to ask you because I have no idea. So, you guys did covers. When you guys play a cover, it's different than recording a cover as far as royalty concerned.
That's right.
But what if you're playing at a paid venue? Like a concert or something like that, and not how does that work?
Like John Legend's concert this past week.
Live performances are not anything that's live. You don't have to pay royalty. You can stand up and sing. I think.
And most venues pay for
but
that
what is
right.
Recorded live though.
But recorded live, you're supposed to, like if you distribute it after, like say you
But if you're streaming it though.
I mean, where are you? Where,
I don't know.
It gets gray,
Well, where are you streaming it though? To YouTube?
Yeah.
YouTube has its own policing system.
Well, what if you don't stream it on YouTube though? Like Facebook or whatever your streaming is.
I think so. I still think it's just a recording of a live performance.
Okay.
So, that I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
It's a gray area.
Because like the John Legend concert that was this past week was amazing. It was really great. It was just him and a piano, but he did storytelling through it. It was like Justin's show where they tell stories and talks about his background and where these songs come from and all that stuff. But he did so many covers. He did Stevie Wonder covers. He did a Bruce Springsteen cover. I was thinking,
no, he can do
this
that
concert
live.
gonna cost him a lot of money because he's
no.
Pink apparently when she does covers, she pays the person that she does the cover.
Yeah, well, and that's why I'm trying to think because when politicians use the song for whatever, and then people get all mad because
like YMCA by Village People.
Right. Yeah, but they're still allowed to use it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So. Well, they have to stop. They usually send them a letter saying cease and desist using our song.
True. Yeah, that's right.
And it's usually their publishers that will do that.
Yeah.
All right.
See, that guitar sounds so good.
It does. All right. Well, let's talk about that because we got to wrap up here. So this is Kyle's guitar. Kyle.
His Enya guitar.
Do you want to talk about this Taimane was instrumental in him buying this. So
Taimani showed me this brand because she was playing Enya ukulele that was...
You made your money back with Kyle.
Yeah. She was playing her own model that Enya made for her. And I was like, do they make that same kind of model in guitar? She said, yeah.
You're kidding. Wait, Enya, the artist.
No.
That's a
but it
guitar
does
brand.
look like Enya the artist. Sure, look the top of the thing.
Yeah.
The headstock.
Well, I have questions.
I know.
But go on.
So I asked her if did they make other instruments like guitars and stuff? And she said, yeah, because she was playing an ook.
Mm.
And I went right online and bought it the next day because I just wanted to fool around and see how it sounded.
And then he bought another guitar.
And then I bought the acoustic version, and I just recently bought this electric version. But this electric version is awesome.
And they're not that expensive.
No.
Yeah.
It's like under $500.
Well, I think we learned a little bit about day trading or trading stocks.
Well, I thought it was ironic because, well, I don't know about Kyle, but I'm as active as you guys are. That's how non-active I am with investments. Because I have all these investments, and I just kind of go, okay, just
right.
let them go.
You throw the dollars out, make dollars.
Yeah. Like
We'll
but I think what's been interesting for me is because it's all just paper, right?
Mm.
You sit there going, okay, I got this much money, but I really don't have this much money.
Yeah.
Because if I sell all of this, then there's a capital gains tax I have to pay on all this stuff. And if you sell it at the wrong time, you're not going to make any of the money back, right? So do you sit with it and go, or is it better? Because what happened for me that was different was when I got fired from my first radio job, we had just started doing 401ks.
Mm.
And so I had gotten a simple IRA, and it was, I don't know, like $2,500 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really small amount of money. I'd forgotten that he was even there. And then they said, oh, by the way, you got this. Figure out what you want to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what the hell do you do with that? And then I heard that Apple stock was being sold, and it was going to split. And I went,
that was exactly when I got into Stu's course.
And I went, well, if I buy this Apple stock, and I like Apple, so if I buy Apple stock and it splits, then I'll have twice as many shares. That's cool. And everybody said, you're an idiot because you're getting half the amount of stock.
He's talking about like 1990.
Yeah.
Like, that split.
That split. Like the very first one that they did.
The right one. Yeah.
Well, I guess. And then, so I bought the shares, the thing split, and then I just kind of went, and I just let it go. And like Kyle, we had our investment people tell us once it had split, like again, hey, you should sell some and make your money back. And like an idiot, I went, okay.
Yeah.
And so I did sell it, made some money back. I immediately invested it in something else, but it did not gain as much as the Apple stock would have because the Apple stock split again. And so I was like, man, and that alone made me not want to do any trading at all. I was just like, frick that, just take it. So I admire that you and
those
John,
are the stories
like as a
that I
fun
have
thing,
as
go,
well.
hey, let's take this and we'll move this over here and I'll day trade it and I'll push this trade out over here. And I'm like, I can't keep track of any of that shit. It's amazing.
So if I leave anybody with anything in this, it works like this. Ultimate risk management is what you need to learn. I tell this to everybody. Go look up risk management, the word stocks risk management, and learn everything you possibly can. Every bullet point, everything. Memorize the whole dang thing like it's the Gettysburg Address. Okay, just keep memorizing it. Have it in your head, and remember that that's how you do it. And then do that in the rest of your life. Risk management. So what you want to do is you want to keep your standard deviation away from the most gambling deviation, and you want to minimize that, but maximize the gains that are coming from it. So they say buy low, sell high. What they mean by that is the gains are earned when you're buying at a lower valuation, but only on good things that are good to come back. Yeah. If you think that something is just going to come back, no, you're not ready to trade. Get lost. Don't ever do this. and you, because you got to know that. I mean, I was in Fisker, for example, and Fisker was looking really good, and then all of a sudden,
the scissors people.
No.
Okay. I was like, wait.
Maybe. What? I don't know. Maybe that's how he made his fortune.
Oh, okay.
But he was a car builder. And so he did a SPAC, and then he went into this thing. I got in way late in the process, so I didn't lose that much money. But I lost, full disclosure, $2,500 to $3,000, something like that.
Whoa.
Just because I went into this thing. Now, last year or this year, they had the car of the year, 2024. I hope you guys are listening because this is important. 2024, they had the Ocean model EV.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful car. I rode in one. And that's why I believed in the company. Because it's beautiful. It's awesome. It's one of the best cars I ever rode in. And yet, you probably can't even get replacement parts now because the thing went into bankruptcy.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. So he filed bankruptcy like maybe a month ago, and then maybe 2 months ago. And then the price went from like a penny. Now it's down to 0.0008.
Ooh, ouch.
So yeah, this is the ouch we're talking about, right? So you get surprises like that, hence diversification.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is risk management. Then you got to have a good thesis and a good data aggregate where you pull your data from. So I have certain YouTube channels that I follow. Follow me for more, like and subscribe. And what you do is you from those things. The thing is, I don't ever want to give anybody financial advice. That's never what it's about. I just bought 2 signatures from the Disneyland Star Wars shop. I bought
Yes!
Ahsoka Tano, the voice of, Glickstein or something like that. She was the voice of the young Ahsoka Tano.
Oh, okay.
So the one that made the Clone Wars famous, right?
Right.
So I was like, oh, for sure. So I grabbed that, and then I also grabbed the Darth Maul. Because it was the Darth Maul signatures. So I got both signatures, and they're officiated by Disney, so I don't think it's going to sell for less. And so I was like, and then I saw a check, I'm saying it. But that's my plan. I plan to acquire a personal memorabilia of Walt Disney. That'll be one of the best things that I do. And they're actually surprisingly cheap on a scale of what
not
you
as
would
expensive
expect.
as you think, yeah.
Yeah, for a signature.
Yeah.
But for an actual like written thing, like a letter or something like that, it's a lot more expensive. Yeah.
Well, Kamu, man, thanks for coming in. Thanks, everybody. We're back. Sorry for the long break.
You want to play us out with something?
Play us out, my friend.
Play us out. Don't lose your money if you're gonna get some honey. That's the way I like to live. Have a few investments in. Watch them real good now, so they don't fall down now. Cause then you won't have anything left, and your wife will have left you too. So hey, that was a joke, but take out with you. I guess it got real dark for a second, but I'm just joking, so hear me now. I said, be careful when you're trading stocks, cause it's a dangerous thing when it falls. Cause then you got nothing left and your wife will leave you. Just kidding. But she's gonna be really irritated every time you talk about stocks. So be ready for that. And just mention to her Target, puppies, and Disneyland.